Welcome back to Wisdom Couple. We're jumping into some really interesting material today, looking at how personal growth connects to wealth and happiness.
Yeah, it's a fascinating angle. It's not just about strategies out there, but about the work in here,
Hmm.
how developing yourself actually leads to those external results you want.
Exactly. So let's kick things off with the main idea, the sort of foundational principle,
Okay.
which is, well, it's pretty direct.
Hmm.
The key to being wealthy and happy is working harder on yourself than you do on your job.
It really makes you stop and think, doesn't it? The core message is that your income, your success,
Hmm.
it kind of mirrors your personal development.
So you can't just like stumble into lasting wealth.
Well, maybe temporarily. But the idea here is it won't stick unless you grow. Like if someone just handed you $1 million,
Yeah.
you wouldn't keep it long unless you'd already become the kind of person internally who knows how to handle that. A millionaire mindset, basically.
Right. You have to grow into it. That makes sense. And that ties into another point, doesn't it? That success isn't something you chase.
It's something you attract by working on yourself. You become magnetic to it in a way.
Instead of running after it, you draw it in.
Precisely. And that applies to happiness too. The real joy isn't just in getting stuff.
The car, the house.
Yeah, all that. It's in what you become during the process. That journey of growth, that's where the deep, lasting fulfillment is supposed to come from.
Okay, so it's about the journey, the transformation,
Yeah.
not just the destination. So if step one is working on yourself,
Mhm.
how do you actually do that? Where do you begin?
Right. So the material lays out a first step. Find out how things work. And the key here is ideas.
Ideas.
Ideas. The thinking is that there's basically nothing an idea can't change. The real problem isn't usually a lack of money. It's a lack of ideas about how to create value, how to build wealth. Getting the right ideas can change everything.
Wow. So knowledge, the right kind of thinking, is the lever. How do you find these ideas then?
Constant study. You have to be intentional about it. Study success. Study happiness. Study wealth. Don't just cross your fingers and hope things work out.
Fingers crossed won't do it. I think that was the phrase.
That's it. You need to actively study the things that can improve your life economically, socially, personally, spiritually.
And it's not just reading passively, is it? There was something about a journal.
Absolutely. Don't use your head as a filing cabinet. That's the advice. Write your ideas down in a journal.
Okay, why? Just to remember them.
Partly, but mostly for repetition. Repeating ideas helps them take root, They start to grow, become part of you, and eventually they show up in your bank account, how you dress, your personality, your whole lifestyle. Repetition is key.
Got it. Find ideas through study, lock them in with repetition via a journal. And there were 3 specific ways mentioned to find these ideas.
Yeah, 3 main channels: reading, listening, and observing.
Okay, let's start with reading.
So the point made is that pretty much all successful people are good readers. They're curious. They need to know how things work.
It's about self-education versus just standard education.
Right. Standard education gets you standard results. Self-education, going beyond that, is where you find the edge. I mean, think about it. One book might save you 5 years of mistakes.
That's a powerful thought.
And there are books on everything: becoming stronger, more decisive, a better speaker, a leader, how to improve your personality. Hundreds of successful people wrote down how they did it.
And yet,
The observation is most people don't read them. The suggestion.
just 30 minutes a day. Positive, challenging, instructional stuff. Be a student, not just a follower.
30 minutes seems doable. Okay, what about the second one? Listening.
This is about deliberately getting around successful people and just listening, really tuning in.
Soak it up.
Exactly. And you can learn from unsuccessful people too, apparently. Like, find out what poor people read,
Yeah.
and then don't read it.
Huh. Okay. A bit cheeky, but I see the point. Learn what not to do.
But the most memorable advice on listening was the dinner thing.
Ah, yes, the expensive dinner. Tell us about that again. It's a bit provocative, right? The idea is, if you're trying to improve your finances, you should consider taking a wealthy person out to a really nice dinner. $50, maybe even $800 for a fancy 9-course meal,
Just to listen.
just to listen for a couple of hours. The thinking is they might drop one idea, just one little nugget that could totally change your financial trajectory. It's an investment in ideas.
But the material note that most people...
Most people wouldn't do it. They think, why should I buy their dinner? It highlights maybe a difference in mindset about investing in knowledge versus immediate cost.
Fascinating. It really challenges how you think about value.
Yeah.
Okay, so reading, listening, what's the third way?
Observing, just watching successful people. Success leaves clues. right?
So pay attention to what they actually do.
Yeah. How they shake hands, how they respond to things, their habits, the little things they do over and over. There was that quirky example.
Oh, the walk?
Yeah.
Yep.
Watching how a guy making, say, $10,000 a month walks. The advice was kind of funny. Copy his funny little walk. Maybe it starts somewhere unexpected.
Okay, maybe don't literally copy the walk, but the point is...
The point is, be observant. Be unusual. Watch the details.
Right. And this ties into sight versus insight.
Exactly. Sight is what you see with your eyes. Insight is seeing with your mind, seeing answers, connections, and the best way to improve both.
Pay attention.
Pay attention. Wherever you are, be there. Don't miss anything.
Okay, so that's step one. Find out how things work, get ideas through reading, listening, observing, and lock them in with repetition. What comes next?
Step 2 is simple. Go to work.
Take action.
Take action on what you found out. Get excited about your own ability to make yourself do the things you need to do. Massive change can literally start any day.
But doing the work
Yes.
requires discipline, right? That's often the hard part.
It is, and the key insight here is to start small. Don't try to tackle the huge things first. Get excited about the little disciplines.
Why the little ones?
Because they build the muscle. You can't handle the big challenges later if you haven't practiced on the small ones now. Make a list of things you can do, things you know you should do.
And just do them.
And discipline yourself to do them. That builds the strength and the habit for bigger things down the line.
Makes sense. Like training wheels for discipline. What about motivation? Do you need someone else to pump you up?
Nope. The material's really clear on this. Self-motivation is the only kind that really works in the long run.
You have to light your own fire.
You got it. Don't wait for someone else to come along and turn you on. What if they don't show up that day? You need a better plan than that.
So it's internal.
It has to be. And critically, let your learning lead to action. Don't just learn stuff and become knowledgeable but inactive. That makes you a fool, according to the material.
Ouch.
Yeah. Let learning lead to action so you can become wealthy. And wealthy here means more than just money, right? It's about becoming well-rounded and not just financially rich, but maybe poor in other life areas.
Right. A broader sense of wealth.
Yeah.
Okay, so find ideas, then disciplined, self-motivated action, starting small. Is there a third step?
There is, yeah. It's more of a caution, something to keep in mind always. Step 3. Don't try to beat the system.
Don't beat the system. What does that mean here?
It means once you figure out how things work best, the best way to build the skill, the wealth, the happiness, then do it that way. Work the system properly.
Don't look for shortcuts.
Exactly. The danger is learning just enough to start trying to game it. You know, slicing it thin, cutting corners, always looking for the cheap, easy answer.
And the consequence of that.
Cheap answers lead to a cheap life. That's the warning. Find out how it works best and do it right, even if it seems slower. Don't compromise with what's right.
That really connects back to the idea of becoming the right kind of person, doesn't it? Integrity matters.
Absolutely. Shortcuts might seem quick, but they often undermine the very personal growth that this whole approach is based on. Doing it right builds character.
Okay, so let's recap the core path here. It starts with prioritizing working on yourself.
Harder than on your job. Then finding those game-changing ideas through active study, reading, listening, observing.
Using a journal for repetition.
Right. Then taking consistent, disciplined action, starting small and motivating yourself.
And finally, doing it all with integrity. Working the system correctly, not trying to cheat it.
It's a powerful cycle. The internal work drives the external results.
This has been really illuminating. It takes these ideas and makes them feel very practical. And it all leads to a pretty direct challenge at the end, doesn't it?
It really does. It's a call to look inside, recognize the potential you have. It insists it's there, waiting.
And the core message is, you can change.
You can change anything you want to change. You don't ever have to be the same again after today, unless you choose to be. That's the kicker.
Only by choice. That puts all the power and the responsibility right back on you.
It does, and it leaves you with that final crucial question. What are you going to do starting tomorrow? That will make a difference. That will change your direction.
Because if you don't change anything...
The next 5 years will probably look a lot like the last 5. It's a stark choice.
Wow. No pressure. But it's also incredibly empowering, isn't it?
Totally. Any day you want, you can choose to change your whole life. The power is yours.
So it really boils down to that internal commitment, fueled by the right ideas and followed by consistent, disciplined action done the right way.
That's the essence of it. Becoming the person who attracts the success and happiness you desire.
It brings everything together. The internal growth is the engine. Well, thinking about that challenge, The power of choice. The importance of starting now or at least tomorrow.
Yeah.
Here's something for you, our listener, to really chew on today. Building on that idea that you can change your whole life any day you choose. What is the one small discipline, just one thing you know you can do, that you will commit to starting tomorrow?